Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C, and place to be, it's Deb C. Boop, that's me. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, and happy Monday. And it is a new start to the week, so I hope everybody is having a great week so far. It's just been one day, but I hope you had a good day and a great week, and it's having a wonderful week. Listen, let's get right into it. Last night was, as you know, the Academy Awards. As you know, I love it all. So let's talk about it. I'm going to jump right in. I'm not going to cover a large portion I'm not going to talk in depth about the fashion. I'll tell you at the end who I thought who were my favorites. But this year, instead of me just talking about the big acting categories, I wrote down every one of the winners, because here's the thing. I know that it takes more than just the actors, the people in front of the camera, to bring a movie to theaters, to bring a movie to screens. And it takes more than just, like I said, it takes more than just the actors and actresses in front of the camera. It takes like thousands of people behind the cameras to bring that magic to life. So this year I wanted to make sure that I mentioned the winners for the for all the other categories, for every category. I did not get all of the names because I was a little tired last night. I know, I was real excited at first, and then I was like, how am I going to type out all of these? So I didn't get all of the names. However, I'm going to go over all of the winners, all the films that had won. Okay, so that opening, how about that opening? Listen, there are very few songs in the world that can make me cry every time I hear it. And one of those songs is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Oh, Ariana Grande with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Beautiful, beautiful. Then Cynthia Erivo doing her rendition of Diana Ross's Home. I believe that's from The Wiz. And then they come back together to do a little abridged, abbreviated version of Defying Gravity. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Oh, and don't I have written here, oh, fuck you, Timmy. Oh, fuck you, Timmy Chalamet, for bringing Kylie Jenner to the damn Oscars. Now, he did walk the red carpet with his mother. Then Kylie Jenner was there. It pains me to say that, his girlfriend. I'm just not a fan of the Kardashians or of the Jenners, so I'm sorry. But apparently the two of them were just making out like crazy. I mean, okay. So they started off the night right away with Best Supporting Actor. Best Supporting Actor, as we all knew, and we knew was going to happen. The winner was Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. So, oh my goodness. Listen, I'm not going to talk about everybody that presented, but Jesus, Mary, and Baby Joseph. Whoever is styling Andrew Garfield, thank you, because he came out, he presented Best Animated Film and Best Animated Short Film with Goldie Hawn. And he had that chocolate brown suit with like a brown satin, I was going to say blouse, button-down shirt with no tie, and those glasses. Oh, for God's sakes. Oh, but it was a very sweet moment between him and Goldie Hawn. He had said that his mother, who had passed away recently, sort of, maybe in the last year or so, and it turns out that she was his mother's favorite actress, and her acting brought his mother so much joy. I thought that was so sweet. But I do have lists. I did write out Andrew Garfield can get it, and it looked like Goldie Hawn agreed. I mean, who wouldn't be charmed by Andrew Garfield? Oh my gosh. So they did present first the Best Animated Film, and I was hoping that this was going to be The Wild Robot, because I saw it the night before and I absolutely adored it. But it went to Flo. I was not upset at all because, as I found out, this is actually the first time a film from Latvia has ever even been nominated for an Academy Award. And The Wild Robot was their studio is DreamWorks, and Flow is an independent animated film. So, I mean, while I really did want The Wild Robot to win, I couldn't be mad about Flow winning just because it's independent and good for Latvia. And for animated short film, the winner was In the Shadow of the Cypress. Okay. Best costume design. Best costume design, and this was a historic moment that is a long time coming, but best costume design, it went to Wicked for Paul Tazwell. And in him winning, he became the first Black male costume designer to win this award. So I was so beyond happy that this had happened. One thing that they did that I enjoyed a lot, and I wish they kind of maybe would have done this with even like more of the categories, was they had one person from each of the nominated movies talk about the costume designer that was nominated for their film. I love that because, like I said, they used to do this. They did this last year in the acting categories. They stopped doing it this year and they moved it to doing it for costume design. I love that because it puts the spotlight and it gives flowers to people whose names you may not know and whose faces you aren't recognizable. And it gave, like I said, it gave them their flowers and it gave them a recognition. I love that. I absolutely, I hope they do that next year because I really did love that. Okay, next up was Best Original Screenplay. We had Best Original Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay. Best Original Screenplay went to Sean Baker for Anora. And once this had happened, in my mind, I was like, if this wins, okay, there's maybe a chance that Anora could win Best Picture. I'm like, it's a little bit more of a possibility now. So Best Original Screenplay, Sean Baker, Anora. Best Adapted Screenplay, this was absolutely, to me, no big surprise. But it went to Peter Strawn for Conclave. Okay, Best Hairstyling and Makeup. This was no surprise either. It went to The Substance. The only other movie that was nominated that you felt like maybe could have won was Nosferatu. Am I pronouncing that correct? Nosferatu, yeah. But The Substance wins for Best Hairstyling and Makeup. As it turns out, that is the only Oscar that it won. Best Film Editing was Sean Baker for Anora, which a lot of people were like, people that I listen to on TikTok or on YouTube, mainly a guy called The Awards Contender. He's very good. He is on YouTube, The Awards Contender, and he watches all the movies. He goes to like some of the festivals. He gets early screeners. He's a very good person to listen to. And even he was saying that like he was kind of thinking it would be Conclave. But Best Film Editing goes to Anora. Best Supporting Actress, we had to wait a little bit for Best Supporting Actress. This was no surprise. I went to Zoe Saldana, and as she said in her speech, her acceptance speech, she said that she is the first actress of Dominican origin to win this award. Okay, best production design. This is no surprise. This went to Wicked. Best original song this is no surprise either. It went to El Mal from Amelia Perez. This I did not agree with. I have to say, I was not a fan of any of the songs in Amelia Perez. As we know, one of them got a dairy yesterday, and not for a great reason. But the original song, I didn't agree with this. I thought it, And then in a cringy moment, then here comes, the couple that wrote the song. They get up there. Did you guys see it? They got up there and then they started singing Okay, so they're French and they get up and they give their speech, and then the woman has to start going, Emilia, Emilia, no. And I was like, what is this? No, thank you. Best documentary short went to The Only Girl in the Orchestra. From what I understand, I heard that you can watch this on Netflix. So The Only Girl in the Orchestra won Best Documentary Short. Best Documentary Feature Film went to No Other Land. And this was probably the most heartfelt speech of the night. A lot of people were saying that No Other Land would probably win. Okay, next were 2 awards that went to Dune 2. First was Best Sound, and the second was Best Visual Effects. Those were the only 2 that Dune had won. Now, here's the thing. Best Sound. They had 3 men up there, and between all 3 of them, they got a minute. They got 1 minute. And they ended up, 2 guys got to talk. One, he started talking and then they cut the mic off. And that's it. I'm going to circle back to this. You'll see why I'm bringing that up. Okay, best live action short went to I'm Not a Robot. Best cinematographer went to The Brutalist. For Best International Film, it went to I'm Still Here, which is from Brazil. This is a category that I was thinking that because Amelia Perez was nominated 13 times and they wanted to at least, I thought that they would give this award for Best International Film to Amelia Perez because Sofia Carla Gascon shit the bed so terribly with those tweets, with those racist and Islamophobic tweets, that they would be like, we're not giving them the main, so we'll give them this. Which, thank God, they didn't. It went to Brazil for I'm Still Here. And I say good because Amelia Perez, if you liked it, if it was for you, then great for you. I thought it was terrible. Like, I didn't like it at all. So, congratulations, Brazil. Okay, Best Original Score went to Conclave. Okay, I wasn't happy about this category because the person that I think should have been nominated wasn't even nominated, and that was Atticus Finch and Trent Reznor for Challengers. So congratulations, but it should have been someone else. Okay, then we come to Best Actor in a Leading Role. That was Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Best Director went to Sean Baker for Nora. It was at this point where I was like, okay, Nora is definitely winning. It's winning Best Movie. Best Actress in a Leading Role, I was looking forward to them saying Demi Moore and hearing like an awesome acceptance speech, because all of her speeches this past award season have been like very inspirational for women of an older age. I was so excited. And then they said Mikey Madison, and I was like, oh, okay. And what made me like so surprised was because Demi Moore was winning everything, but then she didn't win at the BAFTA Awards. And there were like other smaller awards that she did win at, and that Honora did win at. So it went to, maybe in the past, people were thinking BAFTA isn't such a big thing. And maybe if you win the Golden Globe is bigger, and SAG is bigger, and Critics' Choice is bigger. But apparently this year it's not. So it went to Mikey Madison. Mikey Madison is 25, first nomination, first win. And then they bring out, then when Harry Met Sally reunites, and it was Meg Ryan and, what was I gonna say, Danny Glover, Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal, and I loved it. And as I thought, the Best Picture award goes to Honora. So that was no surprise there. Honora won. Honora got 5 awards, four going to Sean Baker. Okay, here's what I liked. I thought Conan O'Brien did a very good job hosting. He poked fun a little bit at the nominees, but a lot at himself. I am very self-deprecating myself, so I thought he was very funny. Like I said, I loved how they paid tribute to the costume design nominees. I also really enjoyed, instead of having each original song performed, I enjoyed how they spoke to the songwriters and they talked about the songs, and how they wrote them or what their inspiration was. I really enjoyed that. I hope that they do something like that next year with even more behind the scenes nominees. I thought on a whole, I thought the show was very good. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Okay. What I didn't like so much was that James Bond tribute. I get it that the Broccolis were given like an honorary Oscar, an honorary Oscar, but I still didn't think that James Bond tribute was needed. I mean, all of the ladies that sang did a good job, but I didn't think it was needed. Okay, so let's talk about Adrian Brody's speech, because I wanted to talk about this all day. What the fuck was that? Okay, so here's the deal. He is headed up onto stage. He walks up, his name is announced, Adrian Brody. He comes up on stage, and as he's walking up on the stage, he realizes, oh, I got gum. I can't be on stage with this gum. Here's what I would have done. I would have swallowed it. I know people say, your parents would always say in the past, don't swallow gum. If you swallow gum once, I've swallowed gum. Swallow the gum. Here's what you could have done. You could have swallowed the gum, or you could have just not had gum. You could have had a mint in your mouth, and then you could have swallowed that. So what he does is he takes out of his mouth and then throws it at his girlfriend, who, by the way, Georgia Chapman, I don't know if she owns Marquesa, but yeah, her ex-husband is Harvey Weinstein. So yeah, he takes the gum out of his mouth, throws it at her. She runs to catch it. Now listen, if that son of a bitch, if that was me, and that son of a bitch would have been like throwing that in my head, I guarantee you, I would have picked it up, I would have went up on stage, I would have put it right in his hair, directly in his hair. Who are you? That you're throwing a piece of gum at me? No. So that right there started me off on the I'm not impressed. So he gets up there, he's talking, and listen, they had said before, everybody gets 45 seconds, okay? So he's talking, and naturally they start to play him off. They start the music to play him off. I wish that they would have done that whole John Lithgow thing, because I thought that was hilarious. We're not going to play you off. We're going to have John Lithgow with this face, and then they do the face. I thought that was hilarious. But they start to play him off. And then he says, stop the music. Stop playing the music. I've been here before. This isn't my first time at the rodeo. That came off arrogant, and that came off entitled. So they stop. And then he continues on. I had heard that he set the record for actually the longest acceptance speech at the Oscars. And he had, after he made them stop and they stopped, then he put down all this word salad. He didn't even know. It was almost like he didn't even know what the hell he was saying after. Like maybe he wasn't expecting them to stop and he just threw some words together. And I'm going to tell you what, at the end of that speech, when he was done, and then they showed Brady Corbett's face, he looked like he was done with him too. He looked like he was like, thank God this damn award season is over. I can't stand this son of a bitch. So yeah, he came off like an entitled, arrogant asshole. And he's up there talking about, this isn't my first time being up here. I've been here before. Meanwhile, there's Timothée Chalamet in the audience. He is 29. He has had 3 nominations, and they ain't still giving him nothing. And that brings me to this. I don't think, after I heard what I heard, I don't think Adrien Brody deserved that. As a matter of fact, he should be at the bottom of that list of nominees. Because, did I see any of their performances? No. But listen, I had heard that for the Brutalist, the actors had to use a Hungarian accent, which is difficult to perfect. So what they did was they used AI for their voices. I don't know how much of it, but they did use some AI for their voices. On the other side, here's Timothée Chalamet. He's been preparing for this role as Bob Dylan for 5 years. For 5 whole years. 5 years. He gained weight to play Bob Dylan. He learned how to play guitar. He learned how to play the harmonica. Now listen, it wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna learn how to play harmonica and the guitar so I can play the role of somebody who, is maybe not that great. No, he was learning to play guitar so that he could sound like a musical legend, Bob Dylan. Okay? Also, he spent 5 years perfecting Bob Dylan's speaking and Bob Dylan's singing voice. 5 years. He put in all that work. 5 years. And Adrian Brody got to use AI for his voice. Is that fair? I'm just saying, I think it's bullshit. And here's another thing. This is very well probably might be what happens. Timothée Chalamet could very well be the next Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you remember how long it took Leonardo DiCaprio to finally win an Oscar? He is 29. He has been up 3 times. So I guess for a man, it's crazy because for a man, it seems like for the actors, for the leading males, you have to be like older to win it. Whereas on the flip side, for the women, seems like they just aren't fans of giving the Oscar to an older woman, because Mikey Madison, this was her first nomination. She's 25. The front runner going into this was Demi Moore. She's 62. Look at Isabella Rossellini. She had to wait till she was 72 years old to be nominated. So, I'm just saying, that right there, that pissed me off. Another thing pissed me off camera, after they win their Oscar, they go back and they talk to the press. Press asks them questions. Well, I guess a reporter who is of Mexican descent, she had brought up the subject to Zoe Saldana, the subject being that a lot of Mexicans are people of Mexican descent were offended by the way, Mexicans were portrayed and Mexico was portrayed. And there were a lot of Mexican stereotypes. Also, this reporter did not bring this up, but it has been reported that a lot of trans people and a lot of people in the trans community were not happy of how their community is portrayed in this movie, in Emilia Perez. This was all brought up. And Zoe Saldana, for me, she seemed to be kind of condescending. She was like, well, I'm sorry if you were offended. Instead of being like, oh, I'm sorry that I offended you. I'm sorry if you were offended, but we didn't make this movie about Mexico. We made it about 4 women and their struggles. And forget about Mexico. These women could have been from anywhere. These women could have been Black women from Detroit, or they could have been from Israel or Gaza or anywhere in the world. They could have been from anywhere, but they couldn't have been because you centered it so much in Mexico. I mean, but she was like, I don't agree with you, but if you want to sit down and we can talk about it, I would be happy to do that. But listen, she just came off as very condescending. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not Mexican and I'm not trans, but to be honest with you, I could understand exactly why people were upset, because it was not painting Mexico or the Mexicans in a good light. And for me, it seemed like for trans people, it like that scene where they had that terrible song. It made it seem like this is something that a trans person can just go in and get done very quickly, because it was all a terrible, like, mocking song where people were like dancing around in hospital gowns and had their faces all bandaged up. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was a terrible movie. I'm glad it didn't win hardly anything. I mean, it won like two or three. And that was even too much because listen, after I heard her talking about that, I was like, forget it. I wish anybody else would have won that award besides her. I'm sorry. I just did not like that movie. I just did not like it at all. I can see where people would be offended. So, okay, yes, listen. Now that it is 8:09, The Bachelor's is on. So, maybe in like a wrap-up video during the weekend, I'll talk about the fashions. But if you watched last night, please let me know what you thought of the show. And if nobody told you yet today, you are loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world so it comes right back at you. Please take care of one another. Be smart. Be aware of your surroundings. Be smart and safe. Hydrate often with water. And if you're in a dangerous situation, please know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and all the positive energy and vibes that you need to make it through. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.